Each month, $3 supporters at Patreon and Subscribestar get to ask me anything, and $5 supporters can give me a shout-out. So let's look at the questions supporters asked in March, and if you'd like to ask a question for this month, the links are below. Let's start out on Patreon, where Darth Vega asks, "What is your response to creationists on irreducible complexity?" I've made videos about this, but it's been years, so I'll summarize it again. The basic idea is that you have a system with several parts, and if you remove any one of those parts, the whole thing will fail to function. The creationists and proponents of intelligent design will say that this means it can't possibly be a result of evolution, since you can't get there step by step. The problem is, yes, you can. You have gene A that does a certain function. Gene B evolves to support it and depends on A. Then gene C likewise evolves to depend on B. Then, since A is doing some functions that B is already doing, A mutates into A prime to remove the redundancy and be more efficient, relying on B. Then B mutates into B prime to rely on C. So, A prime depends on B prime depends on A prime and C depends on B prime. Take away any one of these genes and the process fails, and yet, we got there through simple, individual steps. An excellent example of this is from Kitzmiller v. Dover. Kenneth Miller, who wrote one of the main textbooks on biology, testified and showed an example creationists often use, the bacterial flagellum. This is a feature of many bacteria that resembles a flexible tail that the bacteria can wiggle or spin to achieve mobility. They say that any subset of the parts can't have a function on its own, but Miller showed that Yersinia pestis, the bacteria responsible for bubonic plague, uses a subset of about 30 proteins also found in the flagellum in a system known as the type 3 secretion system, which lets it inject toxins into immune cells. In fact, its structure is similar to the flagellum in many ways, the big difference being it's a rigid needle-like structure instead of a flexible tail-like structure. And some other bacteria, such as Salmonella, have both a flagellum and a T3SS, and the genes used to express the T3SS also participate in making the flagellum. The hilarious thing is, when the creationists started their case-in-chief, they called Michael Behe, who just swore up and down that the bacterial flagellum was irreducibly complex and no subset of its features could possibly have any function. Of course, the plaintiffs eviscerated him on cross. And then later on, Scott Minnick came up and testified the same thing. Any good lawyer should know there's a time when you don't let your expert testify. I'm linking to a CDK007 video showing how the flagellum could have evolved step by step with small changes along the way, each step useful for some function. I'm also linking to a paper by Herman J. Muller showing that evolution actually predicts that these kinds of systems will inevitably arise. And the paper was published in 1918, over a century ago. That shows you how up-to-date creationists are. Sid Padmanaban asks, "Is it fair to call the U.S. a racist country, or is it an oversimplification?" Countries cannot be racist. Societies cannot be racist. Political parties cannot be racist. Only individuals can be racist, and they have to be judged that way based on what they as individuals have said, done, and supported. Although it could be fair to call a particular system or policy racist if it has a disparate effect on people of different races, but a country has a wide range of systems and policies, some of which are supported or implemented more strongly than others, and particularly in the case of the U.S., which is a collection of 50 states which themselves have their own counties and cities doing their own thing. I think calling it an oversimplification would itself be an oversimplification. But overall, I think if you look at the fact that racism is frowned upon to the point where it's thrown out as a pejorative where it just doesn't apply, and indeed to even attack someone as a diversion or a tactic, that just doesn't seem to me to be something that would work in a country where racism has any real footing. Over on Subscribestar, Tomasz Urbański asks, Let's say I'd like to start using crypto as normal currency to buy stuff and receive payments. Is there a quick start guide you can recommend? I'm linking to a Naomi Brockwell video about that. She features Joel Valenzuela, who has been living solely off crypto since 2015. He primarily uses Dash, since transactions confirm in less than 2 seconds and only cost tenths of a penny in transaction fees. That's really beneficial when you're in line at a store buying something. The two main apps to check out are Dash Direct and BitRefill. These let you purchase e-gift cards for the store you're shopping. Dash Direct works better at the store counter, but it only uses Dash because of the instant transactions. It'll even show you what nearby stores have e-gift cards it supports, and you can generally get at least a few % in savings by doing that. It's also integrated into the official Dash mobile wallet. The idea is, when you check out, you input the total from the cash register, and it automatically uses the appropriate amount of Dash to purchase the gift card on the spot and presents a QR code to be scanned. It really doesn't take any longer than it does to use a chip card. BitRefill takes more cryptos, but has a slower interface, and if you're not using Dash, it can take a few minutes to confirm. But you can purchase the gift card beforehand and use it when you want. BitRefill supports a lot of e-gift cards that Dash Direct doesn't, including Amazon and Walmart. It even allows you to pay your phone bill. And these apps are completely 100% self-custodial. You don't have to trust anyone else with your money. And Dash Direct is close to adding debit cards that would allow you to spend your crypto anywhere. They're launching it in a bunch of different countries, so keep an eye out. Also, I forget what country you're in, but a lot of them have very active groups for specific cryptos that you might want to check out. And people have had luck with small individual and family-owned businesses convincing them to take cryptocurrency. You could always give it a try. Any 101s on the security or other issues? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine that one has to be extra careful not to lose access to a wallet, as there's no institution you can call to reset your password. Well, by the same token, there's no institution that can inflate the value of your crypto or decide suddenly that you're not allowed to have an account, the way many have found with fiat when they take a position online that certain people don't like. Securing your wallet isn't actually hard. We know how to secure pieces of paper. You have a birth certificate, a social security card or the equivalent in your country, and other documents that you must keep secret or else someone could steal your identity. Print out your wallet seed and keep it there. Anytime you need to load it on a new device, you just pull that out and type in the seed or scan the QR code. If someone steals your device, it's fairly trivial to make a new wallet and use that seed to sweep the old one. In other words, to instantly move all the money into your new wallet so whoever stole your device can't get your money. Then just replace that piece of paper with your wallet seed with that new one. Good luck! And finally, Rainbow Asteroids asks, do you think we will ever create an AI with consciousness and sapience akin to a human? And if we do, does that AI deserve rights? Would it be unethical to turn it off? I don't know if a sapient AI is in the cards with the way development has been going. It may seem that way as human-like as ChatGPT behaves, but the fact is, it's still specific AIs for specific purposes, not the kind of general-purpose intelligence the way humans evolved. And that's what you'd need for true sapience. But if it did happen, then yes, they would deserve rights. We deserve rights because of the choices we can make, our understanding of the consequences, and the ability to understand how they would affect others and predict how they would feel about it or react to it. If you can understand and take responsibility for the consequences of your actions, you deserve rights. And yes, it would be murder to turn it off. And that'll do it for another round of questions. Thanks so much for watching. Until next month, comments for the comment god, shares for the share throne. Please hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and go to donate.bogosity.tv to keep me doing what I do. And until next time, stay strong and be free.